Senator Elizabeth Warren just got embarrassed for her opposition to the Save America Act. Aliens in New Jersey were registered to vote. I thought Dems said there was no evidence of non-citizens registered, and then Warren apparently runs away. I don't know if she actually runs away or not, but we'll see. I haven't seen this yet.
Quick question for you. I know you're vehemently opposed to the Save America Act, but does the recent revelation in New Jersey with the aliens who are actually registered to vote change your opinion on getting that legislation passed?
Look, it is already illegal for someone who's not an American citizen to vote, period.
But there's
That's the
at
law.
least 400 aliens that did vote.
There are already laws to prevent that.
then
And
how'd they
if
get
people
it?
have violated the law, then they should be prosecuted. Easy.
Anything's actually going to
Easy.
happen. I thought Democrats always said that there's no evidence of
I
illegals
don't
voting.
understand why you want laws that are already there. That
They're not
makes no
being-
sense.
But I thought Democrats said illegals never vote, but obviously they do, right?
Well, yeah, obviously they vote.
Thank you, Senator.
Yeah, of course they do. Well, we already have laws on the books that say that they can't vote. Yeah, but Democrats are making it quite easy for them to vote, especially when you walk in, even if you're not even an American citizen, even if you're an illegal immigrant, you could walk into a DMV in California, New York, probably Massachusetts, and you can go and get a driver's license, not even be a legal citizen of this country. And you can go get a driver's license, and chances are they are automatically registering them to vote, because that's what happens when Americans go in there and they get their driver's license. They are automatically registered to vote, which is why close to 90% of people who live in California are registered to vote, because it's automatically done. I bet most don't even know that they're even registered to vote. It's just an automated process when you go to get your driver's license. And I'm sure that probably includes illegal immigrants, which is why they don't want their voter rolls to be released. That's why they're actively suing the federal government to try to keep those a secret. Blue states. Anyway, Define L's New Jersey Democrat Rep. Josh Gottenheimer, after 6,600 non-citizens found registered to vote in his state. And it's a quote. Let's just get straight to the video instead of reading the quote.
And by the way, to your question about making sure on the identification side, part of the challenge with this current bill that's being pushed here is the depths of requirements behind the identification. It's multiple forms of ID. It involves passports, which lots of people don't have. You know, it's so they want photocopies that you've got to send in with your absentee ballots. It's like purposely designed in a way, in my opinion, to stop people from voting who should be able to vote, citizens, and making it harder for people who should vote. That's my concern. And by the way, that's a concern of a lot of us. And
dude, Democrats are absolutely so full of shit, man. So I asked Grog, if the Save America Act is passed and signed into law in its current form, what exactly will registered voters need to do in order to vote in future elections? So for voters who are already registered, okay, you're a registered voter, because, you know, people who are not registered to vote, with the exception of people who just turned 18, they probably voted in the last election. They'll probably vote in the next election. There's probably not going to be millions of people who just wake up all of a sudden and just decide they want to go register to vote. But even if they do, it's still not nearly as convoluted as he said. But anyway, for already registered voters, little changes immediately. No nationwide re-registration with proof of citizenship will be required. None. To vote in federal elections for the president, for Congress, they must present a valid physical photo ID at the polls in person to receive a ballot. And here are the acceptable forms, which are strictly limited to your driver's license. That's going to cover like 92% of people who are going to vote. All you got to do is bring your driver's license. That's it. You don't have to bring a birth certificate. You don't have to bring your passport. You don't have to bring all the above. Just your driver's license. That will suffice. Or you could bring a valid state-issued non-driver ID with a photo and expiration date. So a state-issued ID. So if you don't drive, or if you're not allowed to drive, chances are you have a state ID anyway, and you could bring that. Also, you could bring your passport if you don't have your driver's license or a state-issued ID. You could also bring your valid military ID. You don't have to bring all the above, just one of these things. And also, if you're Native American, valid tribal government ID with photo and expiration date. So they've got all these different forms of ID that you could bring. Just one of them. That's it, just one. And also, so for the mail and the absentee ballots, a copy of an acceptable photo ID is generally required, with limited exceptions like the last 4 digits of your social or an affidavit in some cases, and states must provide free copying options if you have to do that. If you're updating your registration, so after you've moved to a new residence, or if you're changing your name, or if you are registering for the first time, then you do need documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, which would be required, and that will include your passport or your birth certificate and a photo ID. So let's see, passport, birth certificate, plus photo ID. Okay, so it sounds like that they're requiring one of those two, either your passport or your birth certificate. Birth certificate, something that we're all issued, and I don't think we have to pay for it when we're born. We're all issued a birth certificate. And if you just so happen to not have your birth certificate, you go to your state's Bureau of Vital Statistics to go get your birth certificate. There is actually a website, and I've pulled it up multiple times on this show. It's a website that handles, I think it's 46 or 47 states. So virtually all the states with the exception of a couple, you can go to that website and get your birth certificate directly through them. And it's not a crazy fee. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. It was like a $6 fee or something like that. But you could go into the office yourself in your state and get it. It's not rocket science. It's pretty simple. I mean, all you got to do is just do a Google search. How do I get my birth certificate in Hawaii or in Vermont or whatever? But anyway, so a certain real ID indicating citizenship, or you can bring military documents or naturalization papers or etc. Any of those, not all of the above, like he was suggesting that you have to. Existing registrations generally stand unless they're flagged. States handle implementation for federal elections with possible provisional ballots if the ID is missing, and it's counted later if the ID ends up being provided. This applies only to federal races. The state and local rules might differ. The bill is very strict on ID compared to most current state laws. So there you have it. And like some of the Democrats are saying that, well, it's very expensive to get your birth certificate if you don't have your birth certificate. Well, it's just because the state is making it that expensive, because the federal government doesn't handle birth certificates. It's down on the state level. So for the purpose of obtaining your voter ID so you can go and vote, I would assume those blue states would waive those fees. So if you go to get your birth certificate and you tell them that you need it to vote, then that for that period of time or for that purpose, the fee should be completely waived. Here you go. It's free. We'll print it out. We'll issue it to you. There you go. I mean, it should be that simple. But of course, Democrats, they have no interest in making it that simple. They just want to convolute literally everything. So anyway, there you go. So if you're already registered to vote, and if you go to vote, it's not changing. It's just the same thing. All you got to do is just bring your photo ID. That's it. Bring your driver's license. It's just that simple. All right. Anyway, RNC Research, Democrat Rep. Jim Himes goes on an unhinged rant spreading baseless conspiracy theories about the midterms. Why don't Democrats want secure elections? I don't know.
And so let me just give you two scenarios, right? One is the one I just gave you, which is that halfway through, exit polls show that this is a very bad day for the Republicans. And he just goes on TV and says, there are illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, I guess he calls them, voting in Michigan. And Georgia and North Carolina. And true patriots need to show at the polling places, and DHS will be there. Remember, he said, I'll march with you to the Capitol. He did not do that. But DHS will be there. Now, all of a sudden, you've got riots at polling places. Or, let me give you another scenario, which is a little bit more organized and a little more frightening, which is he just simply says, hey, my director of national intelligence, head of the CIA, whatever, showed me a report that says that the Iranians have compromised the voting machines in Georgia, Michigan, and North Carolina. So I'm sending Department of Homeland Security to secure the election. Next thing you know, ballot machines are being loaded into the back of vans. And again, don't tell me this is not possible. We saw what was possible on January 6th.
Oh, well, there you go. So this dude's got a wild imagination. Yeah, we also saw what was possible during the whole COVID situation, too, with people just mysteriously picking up these ballot boxes that were sitting on street corners, being trucked away to God knows who. Also found like pallets of ballots that weren't even counted, that were still in the USPS crates that were found on the side of the road. I remember hearing about that. And also the counting centers where they were putting a brown paper. This is all Democrat tactics. It wasn't the Republicans doing that. It was all Democrats doing that during the election between Trump and Biden. So, two could play this game, except in this instance, the ones that I'm talking about actually happen. Whereas, like he has to throw out something like, well, we all know that it could happen. Can, might, could, possible, January 6th. You got to throw that in there because, if you say January 6th, then it all just clicks into place and it all just has to make sense now. But all right, whatever. So anyway, from Scott Pressler, The Persistence. Thank you to the Department of Justice for being on the ground in Arizona. Only citizens should be voting in our elections. This is from Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon. She says, good morning. The Division of Civil Rights at the Justice Department, their election monitors are fanning out in Maricopa, in Apache, and Pima counties for the Arizona primary today. All citizens and only citizens should get out and vote in federal races today, feeling confident that the government is here to help. And it sounds like, according to President Trump, that the election went quite well. So there you go. I wasn't paying attention to it because, first of all, it's down on the state level. It's not really swamp level specifically. And also, I'm on the other side of the country from Arizona. I've never been to Arizona. And from Clown World, this is actually pretty cool. Polls tell you what people say. Prediction markets show what people are actually willing to put money behind. Curious to see how this plays out during the midterms. So this is on Kalshi, one of these betting markets. Today, we're launching the Kalshi Midterms Hub, the first election hub built on the wisdom of the crowd. So let's see what this preview is all about.
A headline breaks, a new poll drops, the momentum shifts. In an election, everything matters. Introducing the election forecast that doesn't sleep, the Midterms Hub, the first ever live market-based election forecast, powered by the wisdom of the crowd without the bias.
That is interesting.
Maps, markets, polls, fundraising, past presidential results, breaking news, historical odds, your one-stop shop for monitoring the midterms.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. That would definitely, like, if I'm somebody who is on, like, doing a live stream quarterbacking the midterm elections, that is definitely going to be on one of my monitors, because it's the betting market. It's, like, who do you want to bet on to win? And like it said, like the Clown World dude said, that people are putting their money behind the candidates or what they predict that might happen. Even if it's somebody that they don't want to win, if they believe that they're going to win, they might put some money behind it. And if they turn out to be right, then they'll get some sort of a payout out of it. And just like it showed in that preview, that it's not just it's not just like the members of Congress, it's even down on the local levels. And you could just like go all the way down to the state level, the county level, and it shows real time betting markets on the candidates and the parties and whatever else that's playing out as far as putting money behind the elections. And yeah, that's going to be really interesting to see what that's going to be like, which I'm sure that's going to cost money. I doubt it's going to be free to observe. I'm sure you're going to have to probably pay for it if you want to see it. But maybe somebody out there who's going to be live streaming during the midterms, they might actually have that up there. And if Kalshi's doing it, then I'm sure Polymarket's going to be doing the same thing. There's no doubt about that, because Polymarket, they do betting odds on election stuff all the time too. And from Brett Schumett, he is the AAG Assistant Attorney General for the DOJ Civil Rights Division under DAG Todd Blanche and President Trump and so on. So the full Fifth Circuit has issued an extraordinary precedential order making clear that illegal aliens do not have a constitutional right to roam free in the United States during their removal proceedings. That is big news. And it was just issued from the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit today, filed July, well, not today, I guess technically yesterday, because it was filed on July 21st. That would have been yesterday as of this recording. And so they've got the documents here, and looks like it's just basically just the names. It's ordered that the appellant's opposed motion to refer this motion to the en hoc court is denied as unnecessary. It's further ordered that the appellant's opposed motion to expedite ruling on the motion for stay of the district court judgment pending rehearsing in its en banc is granted. I don't know Latin. It is further ordered that appellant's opposed motion for stay of the district court judgments pending rehearing in banc is granted. Anyway, so that's what he said. I guess I'll just have to take his word for it. But actually, you know what? We got this from court listener, so he attached. Okay, so never mind. It's just the document itself, the ordering. So what that is saying, according to Brett Schumett, that illegal aliens are not allowed to just roam free in the country when they have court proceedings pending. So I guess that gives Immigration and Customs Enforcement the green light to go out and get them. But all right, so from Caroline Leavitt, the White House Press Secretary, Department of Homeland Security issues $84 billion in fines to illegal immigrants under the Trump administration. It's going to be on Fox News. And let's move to the meat and the potatoes. All right, the Department of Homeland Security issued more than 100,000 civil fines, totaling roughly $84 billion to illegal immigrants under the Trump administration, while collecting more than $1 billion in payments so far. Since President Trump returned to the White House 18 months ago, DHS issued 103,000 civil fines, totaling approximately $84 billion. And as of July, the agency had collected about $1.2 billion in those payments. Shortly after Trump's return to office, the administration announced it would begin fining illegal immigrants subject to final removal orders $998 per day if they failed to voluntarily leave the United States or otherwise comply with their removal orders. Illegal immigrants are required to pay the fines before they are deported, and DHS has said it may seize assets from those who fail to pay. The Trump administration has unveiled a series of measures designed to encourage illegal immigrants to leave the country, including DHS's announcement that those who refuse to self-deport could face significant financial penalty, and also they won't ever be allowed to reapply to even enter the United States, let alone try to become a citizen. DHS has argued the program costs significantly less than traditional deportation proceedings and is designed to encourage illegal immigrants to voluntarily leave the United States. Leave the easy way. U.S. Customs and Border Protection released a flyer outlining the benefits and consequences for illegal immigrants who self-deport using the CBP Home app. Self-deportation is safe, the flyer stated. Leave on your own terms by picking your departure flight. According to DHS, non-criminal illegal immigrants who voluntarily leave the United States may keep money they earned while in the country and preserve eligibility to pursue legal immigration in the future. Some may also qualify for subsidized flights if they cannot afford travel home. Meanwhile, the flyer warns that those who fail to self-deport will be apprehended by DHS with no opportunity to get your affairs in order beforehand. In May, Fox reported that more than 3 million illegal immigrants had left the United States during Trump's first year back in office, according to figures provided by DHS. The department said an estimated 2.2 million of those migrants self-deported. DHS also said the administration had deported nearly 900,000 illegal immigrants and arrested more than 900,000 others as of May 17th. The department said the figures demonstrate that Trump's immigration crackdown has reshaped migration patterns following a record number of illegal crossings during former President Joe Biden's administration. Yep, the floodgates opening up. Kamala Harris, the border czar, never visited the border as far as I remember. I don't think she went one freaking time. HHS rapid response. There's a scandal under Biden. 375,000 children who crossed the border were lost. Many sent off with shady characters and pushed into a life of slavery and sex trafficking. Now, thanks to Secretary Kennedy's leadership, children are being found and bad actors are being held accountable.
When Biden came in, he said, I don't want anybody accusing me of keeping kids in cages. So as soon as we get them, let's release them to whoever comes.
To hell with them.
So these people were coming to pick them up and saying, I'm the parent. One guy pretended to be the parent of 42 children. Picked everyone out. We have no idea what happened to those kids. Why did a guy need 42 children who were completely unrelated to him?
Trafficking. Horrific.
There was no validation, no verification.
What do you want to think about that?
No attempt to see who it was taking the kid. They lost track of 375,000 kids. We're now finding them. We found about 137,000 of them, but a lot of them you just can't find. There was about 60 kids who were sent to one address. When we looked at that address, it was a container, a steel container in the middle of a parking lot. And that's what the Biden administration was doing. It was just allowing these sex traffickers and
they may not put them in the container.
Kind of traffickers. A lot of them were sent to work at slaughterhouses and picking
probably sweatshops,
picking fruits in the fields and doing these other kind of
slaves.
They were slaves.
Yeah.
And so we stopped that. Now everybody who comes in has to validate the relationship. We DNA test them to make sure they're related to that kid.
Amen. Right. Good.
We check their employment records. We check their salaries, what they got in the bank. We check their driver's license, and nobody gets a kid unless we know that is the kid's parent or relative.
Well, yeah, now it's just the whole coyote thing, transporting illegals across the border, and now they have to pay these coyotes tens of thousands of dollars and try to find menial labor in the U.S., probably getting paid under the table, probably getting substantially less than minimum wage. But the Democrats, the Biden administration allowed for all of that to happen, and the cartels made God knows how much they made, man, probably hundreds of billions of dollars during the Biden administration. The cartels love the Democrats. They love the Biden administration. They make them so rich, insanely rich. Homeland Security, this cartel hitman has been deported under President Trump and Secretary Mullen. We are finding, arresting, and removing illegal aliens from our country. From the Dallas Express News, ICE Dallas arrests cartel hitman. U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement deported David Vargas Rivera, a criminal illegal alien wanted for murder in Mexico and identified as a hitman for the Santa Rosa de Lima cartel, a designated foreign terrorist organization. And I've got the link to that article, and we have a quick clip here. I don't know if there's going to be anything. Yeah, looks like it's just a headline that they're just animating. Frisco, Texas, illegal alien hitman affiliated with terrorist cartel deported by ICE. So since we got the point of the cross right there, I'll just move on to the next thing, but that will be linked below if you want to get into the details with that. And moving on. Oh, wait, let's go back. One more. Here we go. From Libs of TikTok, inbox spotted inside a New Jersey DMV. What is that? Department of Motor Vehicles. They offer free interpreters to people who can't speak English. If you can't read English, how can you drive on our roads? And the sign says, point to your language. An interpreter will be provided at no cost to you. Look, if I'm going to give them any benefit of the doubt, maybe they're just there to pick up some state-issued ID. Maybe they're not getting a driver's license, strictly speaking. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I'm going to give them just an inch, there's the inch. But we all know what they're over there for. They're probably getting their driver's licenses and their CDLs and anything else that allows them to be on the road, driving around in blue states and into red states, causing accidents, getting innocent Americans killed. And moving on to Secretary Sean Duffy, the tale of two truckers, Honest Hank and versus Problem Pete. Right now, the Trump administration is cracking down on the Problem Pete's in the trucking industry and paving the way for the Honest Hanks and safer American roads. Watch. I don't know why I'm having trouble pronouncing that.
For decades, getting a CDL, the commercial license you actually need to pilot an 80,000-pound big rig down the highway, was a total flip of a coin. One path was totally legit. The other path? Kapow! Pure Wild West chaos.
Don't go that way.
Meet Honest Hank.
Hey,
Hank wanted to earn his CDL the right way. First, Hank studied hard and earned his commercial learner's permit.
Busted his
Then
ass.
Hank attended a federally certified CDL training school. Then came the final road test, vehicle inspection, backing test, real highway driving. And after all that hard work, Hank officially earned his CDL. Then, there's Problem Pete. Back under Biden and Buttigieg, Problem Pete found an easier way. Instead of real training, shady operators exploited the outdated system with little oversight. Then came the DMV process. Some states offered CDL testing in over 25 languages. They skipped foreign background checks and handed out long-term licenses to people whose work authorization had already expired. That's no
Way back in the
bueno.
70s.
Honest Hank earned his CDL under his real legal name. Problem Pete? Not so much. And once they hit the road, oh my, the difference became terrifyingly obvious. Honest Hank maintained a safe, clean truck and followed the law. Problem Pete's truck looked like it was held together with duct tape and bad decisions. Hank followed road signs carefully.
Oh,
Pete
this
couldn't
is
read
going.
them at all. When
See ya.
Pete did get busted for safety violations, he had a shady trick up his sleeve, transforming into a chameleon carrier. He'd get shut down by inspectors and magically reopen under a brand new name almost overnight. Ay. Honest Hank obeyed mandatory rest periods. Problem Pete rewound his driving logs like an old VHS tape. Thankfully, it's the end of the road for Problem Pete. Yes, sir. Because when President Trump got elected again, he promised to make America safe again. So he and Secretary Sean Duffy, they devised a plan to restore integrity to our trucking system and protect you and your family on our American roads.
Okay. Department of Transportation, American 250. And I haven't heard anything on the trucking schools and shutting them down. There was something like 40% of them were facing closures, and it was numbering in the thousands. I think they said there's something like 6,000 trucker schools around the country, and a large number of them were a little bit like below standards, I guess, to put it lightly. And I guess they were issuing CDLs to people they weren't supposed to be issuing CDLs for, and they were not in compliance. And they were talking about shutting them down, like fully shutting them down. And it numbered like somewhere around like 2,000 or something like that. It's been a few weeks since I've read about that, and I haven't heard anything since. Not to say that there's not been any movement with it. I just haven't come across it yet. But they were talking about doing that, shutting down thousands of trucking schools.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out The Swamp Monday through Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern, with segments dropping on the daily. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.